All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Or it's Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. It's Doc and Cali, baby. Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul in a boxing match. Dude? Jesus Christ. My speech impediment from my Nate Diaz impression carried over to my normal speak, apparently. I don't usually like talking about Jake Paul, or for that matter, any boxing, because I like MMA way better and I pay way more attention to MMA. I am not like a massive boxing fan. That being said, though, this is MMA related because it's involving Nate Diaz. I'm going to give my reaction and perhaps a prediction. I don't know. Yeah, probably a prediction, but either way, dude, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I will thank you in advance because I'm Canadian, and we're polite unless we're shitting all over one of our cities, and then in which case we are not polite. We get angry, dude, because that's how that city makes me feel. But anyways, dude, okay, so Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, official for August 5th, I believe it was, in Texas. Jesus, dude, why, Nate? My initial reaction was literally, oh no, Nate, why? Nathan Diaz, why? I am so concerned for Nate Diaz. Now, here's the thing. Then I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I don't know that I'm overly concerned. So, Nate Diaz, for those of you who don't know, he might even actually be a better boxer. Like, I know he's got really good jiu-jitsu, but he's susceptible to kicks, like leg kicks, head kicks. I mean, Josh Thompson, famously TKO'd him with a head kick, which was the only TKO in his career, aside from the doctor's stoppage versus Jorge Masvidal there. But even in that fight, Jorge Masvidal was mostly hurting him with kicks, body kicks. He hit him with that kick to the head after Nate kind of went down, or was on his way down after a barrage of punches. But this was a long time ago, but fuck, yo, got something in my throat. Andre Ward was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he said that he used to get work from Nate and Nick Diaz, both, that they were his sparring partners, and he said that they were real, like, boxers, like, that they were legit. But, like, we just saw Jake Paul be able to beat Tyron Woodley twice. We saw Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva, and not only beat him, but knock him down. We saw him finally lose to Tommy Fury, who is technically a professional boxer, I guess, but not the most impressive one. Has the longest arms I've ever fucking seen in my life, but not the most impressive professional boxer. This is a little concerning for me because, one, Jake Paul is way fucking bigger than Nate Diaz. They might weigh similarly, you know what I mean? But Nate, even at 170, his competition had to be picked, like, you know what I mean. He fought, the only time he did well at 170 was against guys who were coming up from 155 pounds. So Jorge Masvidal used to be a lightweight. Big boy now, fought at 170. Nate Diaz and him, and I mean, that fight was not overly competitive as long as it lasted. And I'm not, I understand that Nate may have pulled away in the later rounds because we have seen now that Jorge tends to gas. But either way, he also fought Connor, who was a featherweight coming up, well, a real lightweight, but either way, coming up to 170. He fought Anthony Pettis, who was a lightweight coming up to 170. There's probably more. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but one that really stands out to me is his fight versus Rory McDonald, which Rory just fucking ragdolled him the entire time, which, in fairness, has nothing to do with boxing. But it was just kind of like, it showed you that Nate Diaz wasn't really a legit welterweight. The guy has zero fucking muscle tone on his body whatsoever. I love Nate Diaz. I am not trying to shit on him. I fucking love him, dude. He's hilarious. He's one of the realest dudes out there. He's not going to change who he is for anybody, and I greatly appreciate that. But he's not that big. The 170 thing was like him not wanting to cut weight. You know what I mean? And he looks skinny fat when he's at that weight. And Jake Paul, I don't know what he weighed in at his last one, but I if I'm remembering correctly, they're all around like 185-ish or 180 or something around there. So maybe Nate Diaz walking around weighs about that. But he weighs that skinny fat. Whereas Jake Paul is like big and fucking strong, and You know what I mean, dude? Jake Paul's a big boy. However, he is not as old as Anderson Silva. And Anderson Silva had a very, like, horrendous end of his career. You know what I mean? Like, he got finished quite a bit. So the durability may not be there for Anderson Silva anymore, or wasn't there for him. And I mean, he didn't get finished, but he got knocked down in that final round. Tyron Woodley, that was a crazy one for me. He got fucking slept. But Tyron Woodley also had a horrendous end of his career. And he is not a boxer. Anderson Silva is not a boxer. Anderson Silva was like a Muay Thai guy, but not even like traditionally Muay Thai. He is very unique in his striking style. Hands down, you know what I mean? Front kicks. It's not like that. What I mean is not traditionally Thai. Like, he's not blasting people to the legs. He's not throwing switch kicks. He's not, you know what I mean? He's a very creative, like, Muay Thai striker. Like, and I'm not saying they're similar in any which way, shape, or form, but Sanchai is a Muay Thai striker. If you were to watch him just shadow box, you might not think so. He is very unique in terms of Muay Thai strikers. Tyron Woodley is not really a good striker, even a little bit. You know what I mean? He knocked people down because he was a powerful individual and the threat of a takedown was there. It was oftentimes a level change with a right hand. And that's what he would catch people with. Darren Till got caught because he's a fucking idiot and he threw a lead uppercut right hand. Or lead uppercut left hand, pardon me, because if he's southpaw, if I'm not mistaken. And Tyron Woodley countered with a big right hand. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, same shit, gets countered with a big right hand. That's about all Tyron Woodley has. You know what I mean? And most of his KO highlights come from guys that were maybe towards the end of their career, or at the very least in the generation before this, like not modern era dudes. Robbie Lawler, Josh Koscheck, you know what I mean? Guys like this. Nate Diaz, though, I mean, but aside from he gets knocked down on occasion. Now, what's weird is this is going to be an issue for him. Oftentimes I find when he gets hurt in a fight, it'll look like a knockdown, but really he's trying to bait you in. He wants you to think that you've hurt him a little bit more than you actually did, so he will drop to his back. And kind of almost like Charles Oliveira-ish, where he knows a lot of people, especially guys like Connor, Jorge, shit like that, they're not necessarily going to want to get tangled up with him on the ground, because he does have a very high-level jiu-jitsu. This one, it's going to be weird, though, because if he gets hurt, he's not really going to be able to do that, unless he's going to be sacrificing like 10-8 rounds to Jake Paul just for 10 seconds to recover. It's not like MMA. You know what I mean? If there's like a guy who's hesitant to go to the ground and whatever, it might take 30 seconds for a referee to do something and be like, okay, both of you stand up or whatever. Reset. He's not going to be able to do that. He doesn't have enough pop on his shots, man. That's what I'm concerned about. But he is, technically speaking, a much better boxer than Tyron Woodley. He is most likely a much better boxer than even Anderson Silva, because Nate Diaz's striking was primarily boxing. He was a boxer. He would throw a few lazy kicks here and there. They're basically just for shits and gigs. I mean, most of the time they're not fucking landing. And I'm curious to see how he is defensively. We know he's not the greatest defensively in MMA. The guy gets hit a fucking lot. But that's with 4-ounce gloves. And if you're used to doing a traditionally boxing heavy defense, those 4-ounce gloves are going to hinder you a lot when it comes to that. They don't cover nearly as much of your face. You know what I mean? Punches will squeak in that if you had 16-ounce boxing gloves on, or even 12-ounce, or even fucking 10-ounce for that matter, those punches won't get through. So perhaps he is much better defensively than we're going to be giving him credit for, because we know him from his MMA fights. I hope that's the case anyways, because there's something else too. It seems to me that boxing commissions, and I know that they're technically like the same commission, so maybe it's just different people get assigned to different fucking whatever. Aside from that Tyson Fury cut, that didn't get stopped. I feel like if that was any other fighter than Tyson Fury, like if that was his opponent that had that cut, I think they would have stopped that fight. I think that they are way faster to pull the trigger on ending a fight via doctor stoppage due to a cut in boxing than they are MMA. And MMA cuts are fucking normal, dude. Like, they're normal. People don't even really fucking bat an eye at them. In boxing, though, I like, you know, I've watched a few, obviously, dude, I've watched a few boxing events, but I really like to watch Lomachenko fights and shit like that. But I remember thinking this, like, when somebody would get cut, the announcers would go fucking crazy, or the commentators. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's like barely a cut, bro. Calm down. But we're used to seeing dudes get fucking slashed open with elbows, leaking all over the place. And unless that shit's going in your eye, or your eyeball's like about to fucking flop out or something, they don't really stop it. The Nate Diaz one was weird. I don't know why they stopped that. In fairness, I guess this was hanging pretty badly, and then at that point they're concerned about it reaching the eye. I guess I'm trying to just like post hoc rationalize their decision here, but also he had the nasty one underneath, so it looked like he got bit by a dog. It looked a little bit worse than it maybe was. I have a feeling that it's almost impossible for Nate Diaz to not get cut, like, unless his boxing defense is much better than I'm giving him credit for. Because, again, I'm used to seeing him get pieced up in a 4-ounce MMA gloves. And the reason why he is Nate fucking Diaz, right, is because of his chin and how much punishment he can take and keep coming. I really fucking hope that he doesn't get finished, man. Jake Paul is not a very good boxer. I've been saying this for a while. I've never talked about it on this channel, but I'm talking about like in regular conversation. And I know that he's better than maybe like his like absolute diehard haters will give him credit for. Like, he's definitely been putting work in. You can tell he's made improvements and shit like that. But there are still certain things that even when I just watch highlights, I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? But fuck, man, the Anderson Silva one is tricky. Like, that's what worries me. But the thing is too is that Nate Diaz, I would imagine, is actually more defensively responsible in a boxing scenario than Anderson Silva might be, because Anderson Silva didn't really like change his style up. He would have a little bit when he's, I don't know, man, fuck, I'm worried. Jesus Christ, Nate, why? He's obviously getting paid a shitload of money, but goddamn, if he gets knocked out, this is going to be a bad one. Because, you know, like, no one fucking was able to knock him out in MMA. It's going to make MMA look fucking bad, dude. And Jake Paul's a big fuck who hits hard. I'm going to just hope that because Conor wasn't able to knock him out, or because Jorge wasn't able to knock him out after fucking head kicking him. But then again, dude, Nate gets to recover on the ground after that. That's what fucking worries me. Imagine if, when Conor was constantly hitting him with that left hand, instead of him being able to fucking lay on his back and be like, yeah, what's up, bitch? Come down. Bitch, what's up? Fuck you. Imagine if he had to get stood back up 8 seconds later, 10 seconds later, or whatever the fuck, and have to go back in there. Fuck, man. I'm concerned for Nate. I love Nate Diaz. I'm not trying to shit on him, man. It's not that I'm not confident in his fighting ability. It's that if he was a little bit more powerful with his shots, I probably wouldn't be as worried. And the only evidence we have is MMA. So if we haven't seen him get his hit, fucking Christ, what am I saying, dude? Get hit as much as he does, I wouldn't be as concerned. But the motherfucker gets hit a lot. In fairness, I don't know that that'll totally translate. I've said, you know, about the defense thing, we don't know yet, but Tyron Woodley in MMA got hit way less than Nate Diaz did. And in his prime, so did Anderson Silva. So maybe I'm worrying for nothing, and the two won't correlate. And the fact that Nate Diaz has so much boxing experience will mean he's better defensively. I would just really fucking hate if Jake Paul knocked out Nate Diaz. Now, that is not my prediction, though. I don't think that will happen. I think that it will probably make its way to a decision because I think Nate Diaz is one of the hardest motherfuckers to put away ever. And I don't think that Jake Paul's going to be able to do that. And, you know, we just saw that once Jake Paul gets in there with an actual boxer, he doesn't have much for him. I mean, I didn't watch that fight. I think Tommy Fury got knocked down. I can't fucking remember, though, dude, because I've really just tried to, like, not pay attention to this shit. But now that it's Nate Diaz, dude, a guy that I fucking love, right, and grew up watching. I literally remember watching season 5 of The Ultimate Fighter on fucking Spike TV when I was a kid and thinking, that guy's a bad motherfucker. But, shit, dude. I would hope it makes its way to a decision. I just hope that Nate Diaz does not get cut too badly, because considering Jake Paul is like their new fucking cash cow, right? And boxing is objectively more corrupt and dirty than MMA. If there is a nasty cut on the face of Nate Diaz, I could see them putting an end to that fight, like right then and there. And then it goes down as a TKO via doctor stoppage, which you can try to explain away the cut all you want. You know what I mean? It's like Jake Paul would never shut the fuck up. And, like, I don't follow him on any social medias or anything like that, but I don't want to see Nate lose to Jake Paul. Man, I'm sick of him beating our veterans. I didn't fucking like Tyron Woodley one bit, but I was like, fuck Tyron, what the hell, man? Come on, I was upset. And then when he did it to Anderson Silva, I was even more upset because I actually fucking like Anderson Silva, okay? I like Anderson. I just don't want to see it again. But, and Ben Askren I could give two shits about. That was the dumbest fucking one. That guy couldn't strike his way out of a plastic fucking bag. And they're like, yeah, fight this guy who's young and muscular and has fast twitch muscle fiber as opposed to your fucking slow twitch wrestling like squeeze. You know what I mean? What good is you fucking crushing 2 watermelons gonna do in a boxing match? I'm gonna predict a close decision. And that's me hoping that that would honestly be my like first pick, but I don't even want to fucking bad juju. The doctor stoppage shit. I don't want bad juju out there. I would imagine that it goes to a decision. It depends also on how many rounds they're gonna fight and things like that. But Nate Diaz is a good boxer, so I hope that he can just keep peppering him, man. Keep peppering him. Keep peppering him. I would imagine he's gonna be a bit more active than like previous opponents he's had, because Nate Diaz is a volume puncher and that's how he does shit. But fuck, man. That's it, I guess. Jesus. Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul, dude. Good for Nate. Getting the bag. I just wish that... I don't know. I just hope he doesn't get KO'd, man. Anyways, that's it for this video. Like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I will thank you in advance for your subscription. Because I'm Canadian and we're polite. So thank you very much, hey? Now, I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.